You can listen to this practice wherever you find yourself today. You can be sitting down or laying down or even stretching and doing things if that's what you got to do. And hopefully wherever you're at when you listen, this will still be helpful to you in some way. So if you would like to listen to this in a still position, then feel free to take all the time you need to arrive there. And just allow yourself to fidget, adjust, stretch in whatever ways feels good in your body right now. And doing your best to not think about the movement, but just letting your body follow that path of least resistance, moving in the ways that feel intuitively good. Maybe some neck rolls or side body bends or torso twists. Some cat-cow motions with the spine could feel nice. Just anything at all that feels good in your body. And if what feels best in your body right now is stillness, then honoring that need for stillness whenever it feels right. And there is zero rush whatsoever. You can continue to move throughout this practice whenever you feel the need to. But if you're feeling ready to come to a still position with the spine nice and straight, then you may do so. And if you're in a place where you feel safe and would like to let the eyes close, you may allow them to gently close if they aren't already. And just mark your arrival into your practice today, into your body today, with a full and intentional cleansing breath. A long, slow inhale in through the nose, and just letting yourself fill up to every corner and edge of you as you just hold that for a moment when you're full, and really experience that sense of fullness. And as you need to, without straining, slowly letting all of that go. Exhaling bit by bit, and just gently pulling the navel toward the spine at the bottom of your exhale to push that last bit of stagnant air out of you as you again pause to experience that sense of emptiness. And let your next breath come to you as it's needed. And so you can breathe just like this for a few more rounds, for as long as it feels good and helpful. Not worrying about the length of your inhales, pauses, and exhales, but just letting them be exaggerated. So when your body naturally feels like you would stop your inhale, maybe just taking one more sip of air in. Just a slightly longer inhale than your body would normally take right now. And same thing with the pause, a slightly longer pause, slightly longer exhale, and again, a longer pause. So just consciously slowing down the process of your breath. And at any time, if you haven't already, you can release this guidance over your breath altogether. Allowing your breath to once again become an automatic process. Releasing this voluntary guidance we had over it briefly. And allowing yourself to step into that role of the observer or the witness. And see if you can just witness the fact that your body is breathing you, rather than having any direct influence over the rhythm or depth of your breath. But reminding yourself how your body is capable of breathing all on its own, without any of your direction. And seeing if you can just watch that process. Looking at your breath just as you would any other force of nature. If you imagine laying on the beach and watching the waves roll up along the shoreline, not trying to change anything about the waves that you are witnessing, but just watching, observing how they come and go. And as you are witnessing this process of your breath, you can also start to notice your face. And even with the eyes closed, if you were to see your face right now, what expressions might be resting there? Or just feeling any areas of tension in the face. And noticing what feelings might be communicated by the expression that is resting on your face. Maybe the brow is slightly tense or furrowed. Maybe the jaw is tight and holding. And oftentimes we can think that we are totally relaxed, but when we investigate a little bit deeper into the smaller muscles in our body, we can notice some tension that is still holding on. So just doing a scan of your own face and reminding yourself of all the different muscles that exist in your face that create all the expressions that you make on a daily basis, and seeing if you can soften these just a little bit more. So just allowing your jaw to hang into place, allowing even your tongue to release from the roof of the mouth, as you just feel the whole mouth and throat soften up just a little bit more. And feeling how this softness in the mouth will naturally allow the chin to release a bit more and the nostrils. And letting this softness naturally spread outward and upward as you feel the cheeks release, the ears and the upper jaw, the eyelids, the eyebrows, the full width and depth of your forehead as the hairline softens back slightly, and even allowing your eyeballs to just rest a bit heavier in your sockets, allowing your gaze to be soft wherever you are looking. Feeling the whole scalp soften back just a little bit more as you let your shoulders become heavier. And just feeling that distance between your shoulders and your ears grow slightly just by the softening down of the shoulders. And as you let the shoulders be heavier and softer, you may notice the shape of your upper body kind of forming a cave-like position around your heart. Maybe the shoulders are coming slightly forward. And just allowing the tips of your shoulders to reach in opposite directions and your collarbones to broaden as you allow your heart to step forward out of that cave slightly and sit in this more proud position between the upper arms. And feeling the air able to enter into the lungs with a bit more ease. And noticing if there's any crunching or urge to lift the chin or crunching in the back of the neck. And see if you can tuck the chin slightly down toward the heart to really feel the full length of the back of your neck. And just creating a very clear and direct path from the back of your heart, that space between the shoulder blades, up through the neck, into the base of the skull, and into the brain stem and the brain itself. And just feeling a nice, clear, direct path from your heart into your head. and allowing your body to soften around this posture, letting the arms and hands relax a bit deeper, allowing all the muscles across the abdomen to soften into the organs, maybe almost feeling this hug-like feeling of your muscles across the organs. Feeling a sense of release in your glutes, in your pelvic floor, as you just fully release your seat into whatever surface is supporting you. Allowing the legs and both feet to soften. Maybe almost feeling the sensation that the muscles across your body and face are just ungripping from the bones, releasing back into the support of your skin. And just feeling a deep sense of trust with your own anatomy. And that there is no need for you to hold anything in any particular way, but you can trust that your body has everything under control, is holding everything right where it needs to be without any of your doing. And just reminding yourself of the deep trust that you do have in your own body, in your own anatomy, in your own life here. And how you are able to fall asleep, to laugh, to cry, to experience emotions and things in life fully. And when you are doing these things and fully allowing yourself to just sleep, your body is functioning perfectly to keep you alive. So there is a deep sense of trust that you have, or else you wouldn't be able to do these things. You would feel as if you have to be in control of your body every moment of every day. And maybe there are a lot of layers of distrust on top of this deep sense of trust with yourself and your anatomy and your body. Maybe a lot of layers of distrust from certain diagnoses that you've received, or pain that's present in the body, or feeling like you and your body are not on the same page. Especially if with any autoimmune diagnosis, we are told that our bodies are attacking itself, which can definitely impact that deep trust with ourselves. And so not pushing away things that don't align with this trust, or ignoring things that are on top of this sense of safety and trust in ourselves and our body and who we are, but allowing those things to be just a part of your greater picture. And reminding yourself that having a meditation practice or any healing practice is not about healing every single aspect of yourself and becoming this perfectly healed person, or fixing things about yourself, or improving yourself so much that all of your ailments go away. And having that expectation can cause us so much pain in the long run, of feeling like we aren't doing good enough, or we aren't connected enough, or we aren't holy or spiritual enough to be healthy. But these things are not connected. They're not innately connected. It is possible for our bodies to be physically in pain and suffering from different diseases that life has handed us, and at the same time feel a sense of trust and deep spiritual connection and love through all of that. In fact, sometimes people you cross paths with who suffered the most or who are currently suffering or are bedridden can be some of the happiest, most loving people that you meet. And we can all fool ourselves sometimes that in order to feel or in order to be the best version of ourselves, we have to heal completely. We have to fix everything bad about ourselves. We have to improve ourselves so much so that we can love ourselves. Or I will love myself when X, Y, and Z. But just the whole idea of self-improvement is based off of the assumption that you are not good as you are, that you need to be improved. And what is needed for real deep change and growth that is helpful for us in the long run is a sense of acceptance with where we are right now. And it is hard, if not impossible, to accept something that we hate or disown or don't acknowledge. Oftentimes, the parts of ourselves that we feel ashamed of, or things that we regret, or just parts of ourselves that we would like to change and don't necessarily like. We can ignore them so much and try to just ignore them so that they don't exist, or completely disown those versions of ourselves or those parts of ourselves that we don't agree with or like. But we do not need to agree with these things in order to accept them. You do not need to like every single thing about yourself in order to accept these things about yourself. It is possible to accept something without agreeing with it. In fact, in order to change and to grow in the direction of our choosing, we must first accept where we are, what our starting point is. And it can feel really scary to look into the darkness inside of us and work on accepting those darker aspects of ourselves. And oftentimes in practices these days, or a lot of teachers these days, will kind of have this narrative that we need to just shove love and light on top of everything and everything will be good at the end of it. If we just fill ourselves with enough love and light, then we will never hurt again. That's kind of the expectation that some people will set out there. But what can happen when we ignore these parts of ourselves is that they just fester and grow. And I think of it as like, if there's a phrase or something that keeps popping up that is bothersome to us, the more we push it down, the louder it echoes within us, and the more insidiously those things control us because we don't acknowledge them. But what can happen when we just simply shine a light, the light of our own awareness, into those darker aspects of ourselves, these things can be so much less scary. And you can just think about that old story of the coiled up snake in the corner of the room. It's a dark room and you see what you believe to be a snake in the corner and you're terrified of it and you want to run away. But instead what you do is you grab a flashlight, you shine the light on that snake and realize it's just a rope. It is not a threat to you. And so many things about ourselves that we are afraid to look at or afraid to acknowledge are just ropes. They're not a danger to you. They are not gonna change anything about who you are as a person or mean that you're a bad person. And the more deeply we can look at our own things and just what's going on within us, the more fully we can accept ourselves and all aspects of ourselves, things we would label as bad and ugly and painful and just bad, as well as all the things that are good and lovely and fun and joyous. The more fully we can see that whole picture, that full contrast between the good within us and the bad within us, for lack of a better term, the more fully we can be ourselves, and the more deeply you can love yourself. And therefore, the more deeply you can love the people around you. The more you can acknowledge and accept the darker parts of yourself. That is what allows you to have a deeper sense of compassion for the people around you as they move through their own darkness. And some really helpful metaphors or analogies for these types of feelings can just be the truth that every storm runs out of rain. If you are in the middle of a big storm right now, maybe an emotional storm or a storm going on in your work life or your personal life, you can allow yourself to have a seat and feel the rain and let it wash over you. And remember that every storm runs out of rain. These clouds will pass over you. And sometimes I think of analyzing the whys, like when we're in a really tough spot in life and we are just like, well, why? Why am I here? I thought I was doing good with my spiritual practice, or I thought that, or if I was doing good, then this wouldn't be happening. This must be my fault to some extent. I imagine those circular thoughts as kind of running alongside a storm. So the clouds are coming, they're trying to pass over you, but you're just staring up at the rain and running alongside it, being like, why? Why is the rain here? And trying to investigate and figure out the reason for rain. Instead of, just having a seat. And when you have a seat, feel the rain, those clouds will pass over you. You don't need to run alongside it. You can find acceptance with the rain that's happening right now and trust that the rain will end, because it always does. Another helpful analogy can be that of the moon that comes from Hellenistic astrology, where the moon is the representation of our physical body. Just like the moon, our body is simply matter. When our soul is no longer in our body is matter and returns to the earth and does not have a light of its own. And the moon is the same way. It does not have its own light, but it reflects the light of the sun or of the soul. Just like our body is animated by our soul. And sometimes the moon is a full moon, like what we have now. It is completely whole, fully illuminated by soul, by the sun. It is shining light for others in the darkness. And other times that exact same moon is what we call a new moon. It is still there physically. You can see it on a clear night, kind of, if you squint, but it is not reflecting any light whatsoever. It is in the darkness, in the shadows, but still there, just maybe disconnected and not shining its light down. And there are all the phases in between this new moon and the full moon. And we are the same way. There are stages of our lives where we will feel full and capable of shining light for others in their darkness and fully connected to life, to our soul, illuminated. And there are other times that we will feel like a new moon and like we are in the darkness, like we're disconnected from ourselves and from the world around us. And we're not capable of sharing any light. We are resting or hibernating. And then all the phases in between. And we are not meant to stop and be a full moon all of the time. And having that expectation for ourselves can in itself cause great suffering. So instead, what we can remind ourselves is that when we are feeling disconnected, we can remind ourselves that this is just another phase of the moon. And the one thing we can count on is that phases change. And you can use that as permission for you to fully feel and be in those darker phases of life, if that's where you're at. Do all the comfort things you need to do. Watch your favorite show or movie, or play your favorite video game. Hug your animals. Go scream into a pillow, or run around outside, or lay in the sun. Just anything at all that comforts you when you need it. Just letting yourself indulge in those comforting things when you need it. Recharging yourself, and also using that same fact as permission for you to fully feel good when you're feeling good, and soak in all the light that you have when you feel it, and share all that you feel like sharing when you feel like sharing it, when you have that energy and that drive, because it is also temporary. But these phases will always come back around. So just allowing yourself to live on these waves of life that we will all move through. These different phases of life that we will all move through. And letting go of that heaviest layer of suffering that we tend to put on ourselves with all of those should feelings. When you're feeling down and disconnected, and you're telling yourself, well, I should be grateful, I should be feeling good, I should feel motivated. And that in itself can be the heaviest layer of our suffering. So when you feel those things, or you hear those thoughts inside of you, you can just take a moment to step back and remind yourself, whatever I am feeling is exactly what I should be feeling, or else I wouldn't be feeling it. And the only way to move on to other feelings is through the ones that are currently here. And sometimes it can be really scary to feel the harder aspects of life, but you are strong and you are fully capable of doing and feeling hard things. You will not break, even though our fears can tell us that we're not capable or that we're too weak. You are so incredibly strong, and the proof of that is in your existence right now. Every single thing that you've gone through to exist in this moment, in this body, in this place, wherever in the world you are, you have gone through so much strength-building life experiences. And you are exactly where you need to be. And it is safe for you to love yourself fully, exactly as you are right now. And at the same time, have aspirations to grow to somewhere different, or grow in different directions. And it is safe for you to enjoy your life, enjoy this journey of change that we all go through. To ride the waves rather than fight against them. So you can just take the next few moments to really tune in with your unique heartbeat. And allow your body to soften under the support of this heartbeat, under all of this love and compassion that rests in your heart. And just allow anything that you've heard today that resonated with you to soak in a little deeper. And just trusting that when we hear something that resonates, that feeling can come when we hear on the outside what a part of us already knows to be true on the inside. And so just allowing those truths to be enhanced within you, so you feel a little bit more confidence to act on your own intuition and what you already know to be true. So I'm going to read a few pages from Clarity and Connection, written by Young Pueblo. But you can just continue to listen, to feel, and to soften, and just allow whatever resonates or strikes a chord with you to soak in deeper and to enhance that trust with yourself. Sometimes it takes your heart breaking a few times for you to become independent in important and healthy ways. Heartbreak shows you that your self-worth and wholeness should not depend on another's words or love. Use the hurt as a map that leads inward to pursue your healing and ignite your self-love. Throw away the idea that you have to be fully healed to be in a loving relationship with a great partner. We normally come together with many unresolved issues because healing simply takes time. The couples who shine with harmony are the ones who commit to healing and growing together. Honesty plus natural bond, plus laughter and joy, plus genuine mutual support, revitalizing interactions, and authentic communication is empowering friendships. Some of the biggest tests in life come when tough things happen in your closest circle. When family or friends who hold a piece of your heart go through a struggle that you have no control over. When all you can do is rise to the occasion by listening to their words and radiating the love you feel for them. Though it is not for you to decide how things will turn out, you can support, provide comfort, and remind them that your love for them is real and will remain unbroken. Blind loyalty does not nourish anyone. Supporting those you love in their ignorance, or even worse, continuously tolerating the harm they cause you, is a serious act of self-betrayal. When you see your loved ones doing wrong or walking into deeper darkness, do not follow just because of an old bond you may share. You do not need to sink together, burn together, or crash together. Even though it may be hard, sometimes you have to listen to your deepest sense of well-being and go your own way to preserve the good inside of you. Do not think in extremes. The answer is rarely all or nothing. Skillful action is finding pathways even amidst contradictory options. Solutions are found by going beyond the superficial and into the subtle. Understand that life is an integration of complexity. Everything is situational and multilinear. Find the middle path and challenge yourself to think deeper. Give love, but don't exhaust yourself. Be peaceful, but don't become passive. Have patience, but don't settle for less. Trust yourself, but don't develop arrogance. Be open to love, but don't force a connection. And have goals, but don't chase after each craving. And when in doubt, remember you have the power to say no, the authenticity to be you, the patience to keep learning. You have the fortitude to continue trying. You have the courage to embrace change. You have the fearlessness to give selflessly, the wisdom to cultivate inner peace, the bravery to fulfill your aspirations. Remember, you have the openness that grows friendships, the awareness to follow your intuition, and the intelligence to not repeat the past. Letting go does not mean erasing a memory or ignoring the past. It is when you are no longer reacting to the things that used to make you feel tense, and you are releasing the energy attached to certain thoughts. It takes self-awareness, intentional action, practice, and time. Letting go is the act of getting to know yourself so deeply that all delusions fall away. So you can once again just let everything you've heard today settle. If you imagine all the words I've said as little sparkles in a snow globe that you're in, and letting this be the time where you let the snow globe sit and settle and feel everything come to the bottom so that you can feel this more clear outlook. And letting anything that felt helpful just soak into you so that can stay with you and so that you can share those things with the people you love. And so if it feels like something you would like to do today, you can just let your hands find each other in a prayer position toward heart center. And just feel this pulsing of your palms into one another. Feel your heart lift toward your thumbs and let your thumbs press back towards your heart as you just feel all of this power that is generated through you. Your direct connection to the source of all life. And taking a final deep and full breath into the body, filling up to every corner and edge of you. And as you exhale, letting go of anything you're ready to let go of, as you allow the head to gently bow. And you take this moment to bow to the source of energy that allows all of our hearts to beat, whatever you believe that to be. And bowing to everyone else in this space who has listened and completed this practice right alongside you. And finally, bowing to yourself for choosing to show up today and taking the time out of your busy life for this pure act of self-love and self-care. May this act continue to heal you through the rest of your days and nights. And may you bring the same love and understanding to everything you do and to everyone that you see. Thank you.